Nerd reactor, roll out.
What's up, everybody? John here, and it's time to talk about Secret Invasion. I was able to check out the first 2 episodes for the Disney Plus show starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, and this is based on the comic book arc of the Skrulls pretending to be other people and just trying to trick our Marvel heroes. With this show, it's loosely based on that because instead of having the Marvel characters like Iron Man and Spider-Woman and many more, and just trying to fight, like actually have a fight with the Skrulls, like a battle of superheroes, Marvel superheroes, just fighting Skrulls. This is more about a thriller, more grounded, and just this whole espionage and paranoia on who to trust. The comic book still has that paranoia storyline too, but this one, it's Nick Fury versus the Skrulls, and how is he gonna help take down the Skrulls for this? And if you've watched Captain Marvel, you know that the Skrulls are portrayed differently than they are in the comic books. So they're more about the survivors just trying to look for a place to live, and these Skrulls have more depth to them, and they're not like the one-dimensional villains. And you know, with Ben Mendelsohn as Talos, you get to see like just who these Skrulls are and what they're trying to do. And so far, I thought the show has been thrilling and engaging for the first 2 episodes. And this show really makes me kind of root for the Skrulls, because you really understand where they're coming from and why they're doing the things they're doing. And some of the things are like, you know what, this might be too much, so you are kind of rooting against them too. And the show has 6 episodes total, but for the first 2 episodes, I think it really packs a lot in terms of just giving us what we want in terms of just where Nick Fury's at and what he's doing, and getting to learn more about him and his personal life. And then also getting to learn more, way more about the Skrulls and what they have been up to ever since the events of Captain Marvel. And they have been here on Earth, and they're planning something. And it's led by Kingsley Ben-Adir, who plays Gravik, the leader of the antagonist Skrull. And by his side, you have Emilia Clarke as Gaia, and she plays a pivotal role in this too. And with characters like Talos, Gaia, and Gravik, and and also Nick Fury, just characters. Each character have like a different kind of relationship with each other, and that really makes for compelling drama, because I like seeing characters with Nick Fury dealing with Talos, dealing with the Skrulls, and not everything is black and white. Nick Fury still has to stop them because these Skrulls that are trying to take over. They're not here to help humans, so Nick Fury is here to put a stop to that. What I really like about this is that with the trailer, it gives you like a tease, like a hint of like, oh man, who do we trust? Who's going to be a Skrull? And with this, I thought they're going to try to tease that in the first half of the show. But right away, like, we get to learn who Gravik is, who Gaia is, and what Talos has been up to. Like, these are Skrull characters that you'll learn about them. You'll learn where they're from. You'll learn what they've been up to. And just really getting to learn more about the Skrulls on Earth. And just digging deep. And it kind of reminds me of the Asgardians on Earth, where they have a little section for their own, and it's just trying to live their life. And then you also have the same thing with the Skrulls, but they've been living in secret, because the cool thing about the Skrulls is they can shapeshift into humans. So with that ability, that's going to create some interesting power dynamics with the humans versus the Skrulls, and who do we trust, and who's running what. Are the Skrulls really running the world now? They can just transform, shapeshift into anyone? Because imagine if they can just shapeshift into the president of the United States, and that pretty much means whatever the president says, that's power. The screen time, it's really pretty much balanced between Nick Fury and the Skrulls, with Talos and also with Gaia and Gravik. So with the balance between the two, because I thought like it's gonna be focused more on Nick Fury as the focal point, and then everything just happens to happen around him. But the show balances things out by focusing on Nick Fury and the Skrulls, so you get to see both sides, what they're up against with each other. And I think with the show, like so far, yeah, I've been really enjoying just the dynamic between the Skrulls just trying to live on Earth and then the humans. And there's like a scene with Ben Mendelsohn as Talos and Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury where they're talking to each other, and they talk about how humans, like Nick Fury talks about how humans have been trashed to each other, and now with the Skrulls there, that's not going to help, and there's no way that things are going to be ending peacefully. And so I really like how the show just touches on how dark human history can be and how that plays into our world now with the Skrulls there, who's living in plain sight but just in disguise. But yeah. Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, he's always fun to watch, and it's always cool to see Nick Fury in the MCU, and he gets his own show. Like he's the main character now, and he's doing things his way, and he actually explains why things. Let's say the comic book has like the superheroes fighting the Skrulls. So in this one, he actually discusses why that is not possible, because he's trying to prevent things like that from happening, where if a Skrull was to pretend to be a superhero, that would just cause havoc. And Nick Fury's trying to think 2 steps ahead. So he's like, no, let's not get the Avengers involved in any of this. And I think for me, the highlight of the show is Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. And so with the show, with Ben as Talos, you really get to see him being torn. You get to understand like his character and how he has to deal with this with the other Skrulls, because the Skrulls, there's the Skrulls that's trying to invade, doing the secret invasion, and then you have Talos, who's this good Skrull and just trying to fight for a peaceful world between humans and Skrulls, and he's in the middle of it all, and that creates tension, drama, and just like this really emotional scene that he has with Nick Fury, which I really enjoyed, and I'm hoping to see more of that in upcoming episodes. And then you also have actors returning like Martin Freeman and Kobe Smulders, and I don't want to say too much about their characters, but it's just always fun to see them like in the world of the MCU, just coming back, and just the whole government agents just being in there and working with Nick Fury. So that's always a fun watch. And with Emilia Clarke cast as Gaia, a pivotal character in the show, this will definitely, I think, in the upcoming episodes, really give us some more of that dramatic effect and just the emotional drama, especially with her relationship with Talos and with the main baddie of Gravik. And so far, like in the show, like she's also torn too. Yeah, so she's working with Gravik, and Gravik has taken it upon himself to lead these Skrulls into doing a secret invasion and to take over. And so Emilia, by casting her, I knew like they wanted someone that is able to convey a lot of emotions just with their faces, without dialogue. And she shows that, because there are scenes where she is kind of hurt and she's not sure what she wants to do, and you just look at her face and you can just tell how she feels at that moment, especially when she's surrounded by a bunch of Skrulls that are doing things that she doesn't approve of. And then you also have Olivia Coleman as Sonia. She's a high-ranking MI6 agent, and she is pretty much like the antagonist for Nick Fury, because you're not sure if she's there to help or not, and she has her own motives. I don't know what she wants to do yet, but it feels like she's there to throw a wrench. And with these shows, similar to like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you have Don Cheadle back as Rhodey, and here he's working under the President of the United States, and he's trying to be the person that tries to bring peace to the U.S. and other countries. And it doesn't help out when Nick Fury is trying to do his own thing, undermining the government. And so now Don Cheadle has to step in and be like, hey, Nick, what are you doing? And so just their interactions with Rhodey and Nick Fury is always captivating, especially with them just talking to each other. And Nick Fury is asking him for help. And as two black characters, Nick Fury's like, come on, help a brother out. And so, yeah, that's just going to make things harder for Rhodey to do his job. And it's just an interesting dynamic to see these two actors play these characters from different ends of the government, and each character is trying to do what they think is the right thing. So one is trying to help preserve the image of the U.S. in the eyes of other countries, and then Nick Fury is more concerned about just saving the world. And another thing, like, so far this show has stakes, and I feel like there are stakes, and hopefully they hold on to that and nothing changes in future episodes, but like each episode ends in like something surprising, or I wouldn't say like a cliffhanger, but it would be like, oh wow, they did that, they went that far. So there are stakes, there are people suffering, and there's even like a scene with a torture scene that shows you like, okay, this show is just taking off the gloves and really putting up the heat. And also the violence in this show, I think for an MCU show, it's up there. So they're really pushing the envelope, especially with the torture scene and just people getting shot and also explosions. And I'm like, whoa, this is, yeah, we're dealing with a lot of deaths here. And so because of that, things are going to get serious, and Nick Fury is going to have to just put a stop to this, because the Skrulls that are attacking, they mean business. And I'm like, okay, wow, this is like people are suffering. So far, these are just my thoughts on the first 2 episodes. So who knows where the show is going to head to with just 6 episodes total, because it can either end in a really satisfying way or not, especially if they try to wrap things up in just 6 episodes, and then it might feel lackluster, because that's the feeling I have with a lot of these MCU shows, where there's like a good setup and then they try to close everything in the very last episode, the finale episode, and it just feels rushed, and the pacing just feels off. So that's why a part of me likes the many episodes for Daredevil, but hopefully the show maintains the consistency and the just the intrigue and the whole thriller espionage feeling, and I want to feel conflicted on whether I should be rooting for the Skrulls or not, and just more about this whole human and Skrulls dynamic, like the more of the regular stuff. I want to see that too. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are once you watch the episodes, and leave a comment below. With that said, I'm John, and I'll see you guys next time.